y'all. Welcome back to the Leverage Podcast. I'm your host, Quaker Q, and you know this podcast is powered by the Next 400 Bound, where we are creating a legacy of wealth and community. By now, you should also know that we are advocating the shift from individual ambition to collective prosperity, and that's why we have the Next 400 community. Today, we're going to talk about a subject that is very, very important in terms of collective wealth creation. If we're building a community, we have to think about commitment, to our goals. We have to think about the discipline that we need to see these steps through. And then we also have to talk about consistency. And that's why here at the Leverage, we call it the CDC, where we talk about commitment, discipline, and consistency. And guess what? Today I have a special guest with me, no other than the CEO himself, my boy, my guy, KHOA. KHOA Lee, CEO of K-Vibe and K-Vibe Studios, and a whole bunch of other companies. Hey, KHOA, let's just dive into it, man.
I thought we were going to talk about the CDC.
Yeah, when we talked about the health CDC. No, see, I figured that if we use an acronym that was popular, it would.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
Commitment,
discipline,
and consistency.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we got to have the CDC bands. Wristbands. You're vaccinated.
Well,
so
I think those are the CDC is definitely part of the formula of creating any sort of success.
Absolutely,
100%.
All right, so we're gonna break this down in this conversation. It's the reason why I chose you for this, right?
Okay.
Because in the community, I see that a lot of times I've met people that have these great ideas, beautiful ideas, right? Mm-hmm. But for some reason, they start and life happens and then they stop and it's gone out the window. Mm-hmm. So when I thought about success, people that I consider successful around me, I thought of you as well because I've known you for a long time. That's right. From the day I met you, I knew at least the CDC was there already. Yeah, so let's start with the first C, commitment. What does that mean to you, and what role has that played in your journey?
Oh man, I think for me, commitment has always been anything that you. If you're super focused I look at it from the high level perspective, right? If you want to go after whether it is that job or that career or that thing that you want, then you gotta, and you're super committed to that, then you gotta build all your 1,000 different subtasks in order to achieve it. And that to me, what is commitment? A commitment is like, oh, I can't wait to get that car, and then you're putting an hour a day into work to achieving that, wherever I need to pay off that loan or whatever it is you're going to do. You're not committed if you're only putting 10 minutes in a day.
Right, but do you think that this is something that people learn or is how they're raised? Because I'll be honest, I've known you for a long time, and I knew from day one, once you were committed to do this one thing, you just never stop till you got it done.
I don't think it's how you're raised.
You don't think?
I don't think so. I think it's part of your environment, though.
Your environment.
I think it's your environment. So part of your environment is being raised by your friends. It could be part of the family. Sure, I don't think it has to be family because I barely saw my parents when I was growing up. I think it just but I also think it's part of your innate instincts. What you told me to
How bad do you want it? Is that kind of a thing?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I guess you could call me lucky or consider me being a curse. I've always worked all my life, and I think I remember when I was like 12 years old, I wanted to do something great.
Okay.
And that was a 12-year-old thing. But most people don't even know. They're still playing video games and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to be great at playing video games.
At 12, that's
At
what you were
12,
thinking. Like
I wanted to be
great.
no, I wanted to be great at playing baseball,
Oh snap!
and I wanted to be great at anything that I was doing, like playing video games. And then when my dad got me a computer, I wanted to be great at computers. So it was about just having this mindset of being great at something. So master every single thing you can as much as you can until you get bored out of it.
That was how you got into
That's
it.
how I got into it.
But let's talk about, like, at what point do you let go of a commitment? Like, okay, you know what? I want to learn this video game. I want to learn how to build this business.
When
Right?
you have
We're
no
talking-
interest.
huh?
When you lost
have
your
no-
interest.
when
you lose
you've lost
interest.
your interest.
Yeah. When you lose interest, because
But-
I,
but-
I feel it's like watching a movie. You're interested in the beginning, and then 30 minutes in, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna
But
switch
I
the
think
channel.
that's a gray area though, because if you start a business, there are a lot of things that will make you want to lose interest.
Not if you pick the right. Not if you're thinking about the bigger goal.
Okay, so let's go back.
Let's go back there. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I run multiple businesses,
Right.
and I hate 90% of the things I do. I don't even consider myself. You say I'm successful. I don't even consider success because I haven't achieved what I wanted to achieve.
Right.
And
Well,
we'll talk about that in a bit. But
Right.
I would say like it's nobody wants to go out and do spreadsheets.
Right.
Maybe you do. I don't.
I don't.
I don't want to answer emails.
Right.
I don't even like talking on the phone.
Right.
I don't like
But
doing
you have
sales.
to.
You have to do all of that.
Right.
But I'm committed in creating. I wanted to find greatness in being a great filmmaker.
Right.
Being a great entrepreneur.
Right.
Creating impact for
Right.
people, changing
Right.
people's lives, and before I'm dead, I want to be able to at least know that I left an imprint somewhere in someone's life, especially my family's life.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I willing to do to get there?
Mm-hmm.
Eat shit for a living, do whatever I need to do, and be committed to making that. That's the thing. Being committed to run a business is not the commitment. Being committed to the goal
Yeah,
is the
the
commitment,
outcome.
and the business becomes the task. To
Yeah,
create
because
the goal.
I think the problem, or what I've seen, is that a lot of people are committed to making money
Yeah.
versus
Yeah, that's
You get where I'm going?
Yeah, yeah,
Like-
and that's the mistake, and that's
Yeah.
why most people I would
Fail
say
at
fail
business,
at
right?
business. And I kind of look at it as like I think I mentioned this to you before. It's think of your goals as part of the map, as your destination, right?
right.
Your car is the job where it is,
Mm-hmm.
and then the gas is the money. You don't go buy the car for the gas.
True.
If you are, then you got some problems, right?
Yeah.
But you buy the car to get you from point A to point B. And a lot of people mistake that I'm trying to go buy the gas.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they have the gas, they have no other direction to go to. They're lost.
They're lost. And then they shift. I see a lot of people, because of lack of commitment, they shift from idea to idea.
Because of course they are, because they haven't found something that they're passionate about.
Okay, so I have a question. So if somebody was listening to, because I try to do an outreach for Gen Z, and so if somebody was listening right now, and there was something that you would have, if you had something to say to a young person, 21 years old, wants to do this and that, and they struggle with the area of commitment, what would you say? Like, how can, in your own mind, in your experience, what can one do to?
Well, I would say, what is it that if you were gonna die tomorrow, what is it that you really want to do?
Yeah, that's interesting. I just said that I had a intern that is dreading this to take this CPA exam. Oh, it's so
boy.
hard. Is
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I said, God forbid, right? If you wake up tomorrow, I said, God forbid, and there was no mommy, there was no daddy, there was nobody, and you were left on your own to figure things out.
Yeah.
Would you say the exact same things you're saying to me now, that like, this is really hard, I don't know what to do?
No,
you know what I mean?
You're just gonna have to
gotta
live
do
your
what you
life.
gotta do. Yeah.
Otherwise, don't live at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty. It's that straightforward. I think you have to. If you were. I mean, like. That's what I always say to people. I say you have to know that by the time you're 80 years or 90 years or wherever it is, or you're about to, that you don't have much time to live, and we live in such a short amount of time.
Right.
what is it that you want to do? Do you in the want to do not is like the task you want to do? Do you want to? Okay, let's just say let's keep it general. I want to impact people's lives.
Right.
How?
Right.
Environmental,
Be specific.
storytelling, music, how you
Right.
want to do it.
Right.
Okay. And then if you know that, okay, this is what I want to get to, okay, what are the tasks to get there?
Right.
Then you go after that. I need to build, well, I can't get there if I'm working a 9 to 5 job. Then get out of your 9 to 5 job. How are you going to get out of Then you build a business.
Right.
How do I build a business? Then learn the business.
Yeah.
How do you learn the business? Learn how to
Continue to learn the
Right, keep
business.
learning. And then all of a sudden it's like a yay long 1,000 different lists. But if you're passionate about that, then you're going to figure out how to get there.
Get there.
That's
how I
that. And then if you can't do that, then I'm sorry, you're not.
You're not in the game.
You're going to be in the hamster wheel.
I also think that a lot of people nowadays just get up and say, you know what, I'm going to start a business, and
because cool.
Yeah, it's cool to say I have a business.
No, I think they think about doing that because they just hate their job, or they don't, or they want to they think making more money, or that because starting a business has never been easier than before.
Super hard.
They think it's never been easy before, and they start something at home, or they do some sort of sale, and then they go through these bumps and roads, and then all of a sudden they're in 8 to 10 months, 12 months, and they're out of it. But that hasn't changed. I mean, that's the reason why the government gives you 3 years of losses.
Right.
They know that you're gonna lose for 3 years.
Right. It's not an easy thing.
No.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. The idea of commitment to me is very important because I've, in my experience, I've met so many people, and you have this great conversation. They tell you about this beautiful thing that they want to do, and I'm not going to stop until I get it done. And the next time you see them, it's like,
they're out.
Oh, yeah, I stopped. I went back to work. But I'll get back to it, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nothing is easy.
No.
Nothing is easy.
No, it's not easy. And it's
like sticking through the thick and thin. It's like a relationship.
Right.
Let's say if you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, and you're committed to that relationship.
That's right.
It's not rosy every day.
But I really think that, like, how do you stick to that commitment? Okay, you got to the goal, and it's hard. It is a mindset shift, but you have to think of it as like your life depends on it.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that, then you're not gonna commit. Then it is what it is.
It's accountability.
It is
and I
what
feel
it
like
is,
people should have what works for them. Like for me, what works for me is sometimes I talk about my goals to my close friends and family, so I know that they're holding me accountable.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I can't just say I'm gonna do this. Even the next 400, it's been like a hell of a journey for me.
But you know what? You're positioning, right? It's not about like how fast you do it. It's about what is are you putting work into it? Yeah. If you put an hour a day of work, great. If you put 10 hours a day of work into it, excellent. Amazing. Yeah. You put 18 hours a day, even more, right? And so, but a lot of people make mistakes. That I'm committed to doing this. Okay, I'm putting 30 minutes in. Okay, okay, that's fine. Do 30 minutes in, but just know that it's gonna take you probably 20 years to get there.
Right.
But if you figure out how to get to 10 hours a day, 18 hours a day, 21 hours a day.
Yeah. Then comes that.
I don't believe in 8 hours of work.
No,
I really don't believe in
either.
that. I don't believe in 8 hours. There's no such thing. Not such a thing when it comes to trying to speed ramp your success.
Right. Wait, that's 8 hours. No, 8 hours is for employees, man.
Yeah,
they just go home, go to work, go home, take a paycheck, and that's it.
Right. For us as employees, 8 hours just gets us day going. The next 8 hours where the growth starts.
A lot of times when people see me at like noon, I've been up from like 4 to 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I'll take a break between, 8, 9, 10.
Mm-hmm.
So they're seeing me on my second shift and, working for myself.
Yeah, that's right.
But the first 4 hours is like so powerful to me because I'm not getting any phone calls. Nobody's,
So what are you doing from 4 o'clock in the morning?
Work for my business,
like strategies or just like all task related type of stuff.
Well, no strategies. Because that's when I have no distractions. Because when I get to the office, I can do tasks or assign tasks, right? I've also learned how to buy back my time. It took me a long time by delegating stuff, right? I used to be afraid of like asking people to even read my email.
Oh, I got it.
Because I'm like, okay, well, why would my system reads my email now?
Yeah.
But you know how long it took me
It's hard.
to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that?
You got to get you got to get
Let go.
yeah, you got to
It's like you have to
you
let
got to
go.
trust. You got to
Yeah,
learn how to trust.
that's so.
And that's another thing. Like if you're especially if you're a business person and creative,
Yeah,
it's so hard to you want to be the person that does everything.
yeah. Because if you don't do it, it's probably not getting done the right way. And also in my main business, there's a lot of due diligence and
Oh
you know
yeah.
stuff that you gotta pay attention
Oh
to
yeah, yeah. I
because of
mean
regulation.
quality. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
quality
quality.
of
Yeah,
service. Yeah.
it's easy. You know, you could spend 5 years building your business or whatever it is you're doing, and it takes one day to ruin it.
Absolutely, just one move.
You one move, it's gone. And so you had, you have to just know which buttons you want to keep your fingers on.
Fine,
When
let's
you gotta
talk
go.
about discipline.
Okay.
I told you we're gonna talk about the
Yeah.
CDC,
Yeah.
commitment,
Okay.
discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah, discipline is the next one. So I find that it almost sounds like we're talking about the same thing
Yep.
if you really think about it, but they're
Yep.
different. I
They
feel
are.
like the commitment is the foundation.
Yep.
Okay, I'm committed to doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people, have the commitment on a mental level. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm committed to building this business, right?
Okay.
Or getting this degree or getting whatever. And then they leave it there.
Uh-huh.
I'm committed. I'm gonna do it. Whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the discipline, I feel that is kind of like the work that you have to
Mm-hmm.
put in to see. It's like, what habits am I gonna create
Yeah.
around this?
Yeah. I think.
Around this commitment to make it happen. Because if I'm committed to
Mm-hmm.
doing this, or even this podcast, I'm committed to doing it. What habits am I going to create to
True.
consistently do it to see it through?
I feel like discipline is like a muscle memory. And it's practiced, and I believe you need to have about 10,000 hours before you could be disciplined into a certain
10,000
role.
hours,
Yeah.
Paul?
I believe that a minimum of 1,000 hours to even get you started.
I can see
10,000
that.
hours is when it becomes a muscle memory. And for me, I was disciplined from playing baseball.
Sports, huh?
If you're 2 minutes late, you're running laps, right? Type of thing. It's like the army type of stuff. I spent a decade playing ball, being super disciplined by my coaches. My parents didn't discipline me.
Right.
I was a B, C, D student, maybe an F. I would even question, right? But I was super disciplined around what I wanted to do. And they said, "Why you want to be one of the best ball players?" I played for college ball and everything else. And you get to the point where it's like, okay, the discipline is be on time. You know, uh, make sure that you're warmed up at a certain time, and it's like it becomes every single day. You know how hard it is to do it every single day, to be on time every single day. That's a discipline
At a young age,
At a
too.
young age, a very young age. So then what I do is that practice became an easy transformation when it came to business. For music, music was a big practice for you and I. From working 9 to 5, then
And
from
then
7 to 4 or 5 o'clock in the
going to
morning.
the studio and
And my vacations was doing music, and my personal days off was music. But it didn't end to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning every day for 10 years.
yeah, that's discipline. I learned
365 days a year, nonstop.
Yeah, I learned discipline definitely besides my mom, being African, the upbringing is like strict.
Strict, yeah. Yeah.
This is how it's gonna be. This is it's military style.
That's right.
So when you're a kid, you learn those things. So kind of shapes you. But I feel like people struggle with this thing. Like, for example, I don't want to be here this
Right.
morning. It's
Yeah.
Friday morning.
Yeah.
I actually should be at the office.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember telling you when I decided to do the podcast that, I'm just going to keep doing them and doing them and doing them. And it takes discipline.
It does.
Well,
it takes it's both, right? It's the discipline and the commitment. But then but you know what the bigger picture is, because the bigger picture is to help other people, be impactful and everything else, and you're doing it you're sacrificing your time to help other people.
Yeah,
and that's a mindset that's baked in, and you've had this concept of Next 400 for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. That it's like it's almost becomes a default. But I do know that if you have the discipline. Sometimes but if you don't love what you're doing,
you're wasting time.
That discipline doesn't
going
really matter. But then not even just going to waste. I would just say that it might be faking you out.
Right, because you're
so committed doing it, but then it's not going anywhere. But you keep on doing it.
You know what that's like? A terrible R&B singer. Right? They show up at the studio on time. They're the first ones there. They've been practicing singing, and they
just can't get it. They just can't nail it.
Take after take, right? Or an actress.
Yeah, that's right. It's like you just got to give it up, right? This is not your thing. And then you got someone that just shows up super late and nails it one day and just goes home.
Yeah,
they're just super talented. But imagine you have that type of talent and the discipline and the commitment, then you become a Superman.
Yeah. So that's what separates the boys from the men.
That's right.
So I guess ideally, the bigger picture to having these things work together for you is your purpose and what you're committed to, right? Like what are you committed to, right?
Well, I mean, for me, there's also fear, right? Part of the commitment, part of the discipline is also fear of disappointment. I fear disappointment in my employees, my
that is a real fear.
Real fear, my family, and now I got my kids. I got something even more. It's like, and then we're refugee immigrants from Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
My parents came here not by with a need to survive, not because they just wanted to be here to be for luxury.
Mm-hmm.
People were getting killed in Vietnam,
so they had to
flee.
They
had to flee, and so when you think about that, they didn't have a choice of having a passion.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get to choose. We have a luxury to get to choose what we want to commit to.
Yeah,
they got no choice.
They
would choose. They said, "Dude, if I don't work, we're starving." Period. So there's no choice.
They just hit the ground.
So when you kind of think about that, it's like, I better do my best, because I'm not going through what my parents go through. Not even come close to that. So let me do something that's gonna be super impactful and use that life.
That's crazy, man. When you said what you just said, I have a version of that story of my own, but actually, that's what this kind of story is what inspired me to start the Next 400. The idea that I believe that certain people before us did certain things to create opportunities for us to have choices. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, what are we doing?
That's right. That's exactly
for the next generation.
Same mindset. I have the same mindset. I have the same mindset, because I also think this, like, I'm not like, maybe you call me spiritual, maybe not. But I always say, like, if I know I have a lot of talent in my pinky than most people have in the whole entire body. I know that.
Absolutely.
And I don't take that for granted at all.
Right.
So I know that if that talent does not get used and deployed, it's going to be taken away from me, or it's going to be taken away from my kids.
Yo, hold on. I got to pause. I got to let that sink in. Yo, he said he got more talent. Wait, say that again. On your pinky than a lot of people.
I do know that. I know that.
Yeah. And I know I can attest to that, because we'll talk about that briefly as well.
Yeah.
But so I wanted to have this conversation because, part of the Next 400 movement is to educate financial literacy, financial education.
That's right.
But it's very important that we understand there's certain basic life principles that go along with trying to gain financial freedom or
That's right.
succeed in business. Like if you don't have commitment, your business is not going to work. If you don't have dedication to the
Yeah.
business, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Discipline, you know. So that's why I'm having these conversations,
Right.
where it's not specific like, hey, do this,
No,
can
yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah.
this is all you got to
They
do.
got. They have to
The
have.
mindset.
They have to have a mindset. They have
Yeah.
to be. They have to know that that the minute you could figure out that you could bend the world, it changes your whole entire life,
Yeah.
like of how you approach things. Because I think everyone has some sort of talent somewhere, right?
Right.
It's just that it was never practiced, it was never utilized. For me, I started my talents since I was a little kid. It wasn't like I don't think you are born with it. I
Right.
think you just develop these things.
Right.
But I think you're born with a cognitive capability to do certain things,
To do certain things.
right? And a capacity.
Right.
So I can't sing.
Yeah. At some point in my life,
know?
I became aware that everything that I had, I was very young. I was like maybe 10 or 11. And this is while living in Ghana back in the day. So I became aware that everything in that house belonged to my dad based on the comment he made to me on a report card
What he
that
said?
everything here in this house is mine.
It's yours.
Him is his.
His.
And one day,
This is not yours.
yeah, this not yours.
Mine.
Yeah, so one day you're gonna get out and go get yours.
You get yours. Got it.
So that's from him just looking at a F failed and just looking at me and that something woke up. I just had a wake up call like, oh snap, this TV is not mine. This VCR is not mine. Wait,
None of that is yours,
ain't-
right?
my boots. I've anything that I didn't buy. I just at that moment knew.
Funny you said that because I have this. Even though my parents wouldn't say that to me, but I've always had that mindset because
Right?
I never asked my parents for money
Wow.
ever. Like I don't ask for $1. I don't ask for anything. It's like you make your own money. You figure out how to do your own
figure out
thing,
things, right?
and it's like and you do it respectively and wherever it is.
Yeah.
But it was the thing was like I've always said like, well, this house not mine. None of anything is mine as
It
well.
was second nature to you to know.
It was
right?
second nature to me to know.
I have to get out there and get mine.
You know why? Because I just didn't want even my parents. I didn't want anyone.
To feel responsible. For
I don't want.
your-
I don't want to be in debt at that time with that type of stuff.
Right.
And it's that. I think that's I think that was that will be a motivation, a driver to keep things going. You say, I'm gonna just get out and just do it my own. My parents is the typical people that's parents that say, stay in your 9-to-5 job. Don't run a business.
Oh, of course, safety.
Yeah, don't be a creative artist. Don't be any of that,
Yeah,
And I
definitely.
did a complete opposite of what they said.
Right? I think I did too. I confused my dad when I told him back in the day I was doing music.
Music.
He was like, "Explain that." I was like, "Yeah, like the music you listen to."
Oh
Like,
my
how do you-
God.
What are
Yeah.
you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, that leads us to talk about this thing, right? This magical word consistency. I feel like a lot of
Consistency.
people just use it.
Yeah.
Just use it out of context. Like, hey, you know what? Man, that consistency, man, that could be like, in
Right.
reality, it's magic if you get it.
Well,
You get it right.
like I'm gonna bring it back to sports or bring it back to playing the piano or something like that. In sports, if you're playing baseball, you're swinging the bat. You want to be consistent with the swing to kind of hit the right ball. But then you got all these quadrants that you kept hitting, so you got to be consistent. High swing, low swing, whatever it is. Same with piano. Your consistency is doing the scales up and down for 1,000 hours. You're gonna eventually get it. Business runs the same thing, or your career runs the same way. So what are you doing that's consistent? Meaning, like what I do is I would put my task. I have a yay long task per day, and what I do per day in the calendar, Google Calendar, and I would just like check off every single thing. And from be 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and all these subtasks, and I don't go home until it's done.
So that's where consistency meets discipline.
Yeah,
Because it's like,
that's right.
I'm tired, I got to go home, but you're like, you know what? I got to finish this before I go.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. But I think consistency. In order to be consistent, you have to have a visual cues to know that you go to the bathroom, someone gives you a call, or where it is. Then you just end up getting
Going off track,
sidetracked,
yeah.
and then you didn't get to finish. So you need to have a way to come back home. So what I do in my office now is like I put a screen up.
Mm-hmm.
I go around. I say, oh, I got to get this thing done. I go to the kitchen, get some food. I see it again. Got to get it done.
Oh, it's like
I
a
don't
reminder,
stop. Just
constant
constant remind. So I have an assistant that constantly reminds me on things, or someone's consistently texting me, or where it is, and I said, just remind me in an hour. Just remind.
Yeah, it's very
doing that.
easy to pick up the phone, and before you know it, you're 2 hours
In
out of the day.
yeah, out of the day. Yeah, or even email. You get caught up in email. You can't get things any done. Can't get anything done. So, but I look at that. Those are like good problems.
Right.
But if you want to be consistent, like doing what you need to do, like podcasts, you have a schedule.
Right.
It's 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, where it is.
You're
I
consistent.
got to get here because you know why? If I got people that's waiting for me. I got technology that's turned on. If I don't show, I'm an asshole.
Right.
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 And that's part of helping you create consistency.
Consistency, yeah.
So it becomes, it becomes very mechanical, in my opinion. It's not just a mindset thing. I think there's a mindset to, like being
consistent, but
by being respectful, by
I
default.
feel like people are
that type of stuff.
forced into being consistent. For example, if you are in college and you have to show up to class, the schedule is consistent, so you're forced because it's a schedule.
Yeah, routine.
Well, for routine, I was forced to go to work, right, as an employee. But then when you start your own business, you now are in control of that consistency.
Oh, that's exactly right.
Basically, I can get up today and say, you know what, I'm taking the rest of the day off.
Yeah, and you could.
And I could. However, I don't.
Right. But you could be consistent every Sunday. You could turn off.
Absolutely.
You could turn off and hang out with the family and everything else. Because I also think that balance is super important as well.
No, you got to.
You have to be happy, because you're not happy at home or you're not happy anywhere. You're not going to be happy at work.
Yeah, you can't just chase your financial goals or your dreams and just
I believe that CDC, you might have to add more acronyms behind it.
CDC.
And a bunch of other things, B and
we're gonna start from the 3 letters. The next time we talk again, we'll add another. But here, I wanted to ask you, like, so how do you have a lot going on?
I do.
Yeah,
I have like 5 businesses.
You have 5 businesses.
Yeah.
All right.
3 of which makes money, and then the other 2 is emerging still.
All right. So, let me hear about, like, how much has these 3 things, or what role does these things play into? Can you say has played into where you are right now? You said you're not successful, but I know a lot of people walk into.
Okay, so let's talk about success. Let's define success for me, right? There's 3 levels of success for me.
Right.
There's a creative success, to be creative fulfilled, right? And I'm not creatively fulfilled yet, because I haven't made the movie I wanted to make.
Okay.
I haven't raised the money I want. I'm not creative for that.
Okay.
There is a business success.
Okay.
I'm not at the place where, even though I have multiple companies that does 7 figures,
right,
but that's not business success to me. I don't have 100 employees clicking together, and where where everything is like going smooth just yet. I'm still involved with a lot of the aspects. So I don't think that would change, but until I achieve that, then I would feel more successful. And then there's the personal success, which is being super impactful across billions of people around the world. That's why I'm in storytelling. I want to tell a story, have a hit movie. Hopefully that story moves the needle forward for people and change people's lives, and then use that to. I haven't done any of that yet.
Yeah, but are you saying that until
those things, then I'll feel success? Yeah.
So
I won't stop.
You don't
until 90 years old.
You don't. So if you set a goal, like I want to start this business and see it to this next level, and you get to that next level, isn't that some form of a success for you?
No.
You got to go all the way to.
I have to go all the way. Yeah.
So
So these are businesses that are just pivot points. They're like, okay, I run a wedding business. We do
Right.
hundreds of weddings a year. We franchised it.
right,
Anyone could say, "Damn, that's successful because you got there." I said, I said that's not success to me.
Right.
I said that's just a business.
right,
It had led me to better financially, having to
Right.
buy stuff,
right.
but I still gotta deploy that. But I wouldn't call that success.
So wait, so I kind of disagree with that. You know why?
Why?
Because I feel that okay, that's like saying Elon Musk wants to go to Mars,
Okay.
occupy Mars, whatever.
Okay.
So until he does that, he
Then he-
probably doesn't consider himself.
Yeah, that's why
successful.
that's why I feel like success is to each their
Okay,
own.
yeah.
That's the point. Some people
I
like
can
my
accept
my
that
wife would say she's successful because she's happy.
with whatever
Yeah.
she does, right?
And for me, I cannot be happy until I achieve those things.
I get it.
It's like that type of thing.
so-
It's like a curse in some ways too, because you're so hard on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm 44 years old. I haven't stopped working since I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nonstop. And everyone says just quad doesn't stop. Quad just keeps
Right.
going. It doesn't stop. You could call me 4 o'clock in the
Do you
morning.
think
I'm
there's-
wired.
Do you
still.
think there's ever a stopping point? Like
I think when
even
I'm
if
dead.
you have, I don't think so.
I think when
so.
I think there's a level of happiness that I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And work keeps me happy,
Right.
but I just feel like I don't have enough time to achieve it.
To achieve what?
My goals. I have.
Oh,
I don't
need another 40 hours in the
No,
in the day?
I need like another 60 years in me.
Okay, I think
get
of that
there.
sometimes. And
Yeah.
once again, that's why
Yeah.
I started the next 400 because the idea was this is what I want to do or what I want to see happen
Right.
can probably never happen in this generation.
Right.
So I was like, next 400, how do we get there in 400?
See, here's the thing.
days?
Here's the thing to prove that I feel that way because, okay, I make decent amount of money.
Right.
How I roll things in,
Right.
and I don't even save much of it. I take that money and I put it into so many risky assets or so many risky things that I'm going to do, and they may lose a lot of money too. But I have no fear of losing it.
Because you got that aim,
Yeah, because if I don't do it, it's not gonna work. Then what's the point of? I would rather risk everything, risk the building, risk all my assets, real estate, everything else, just so I could achieve that goal. Obviously, I want to be super smart about it,
Right.
And I want to mitigate my risk and
Right.
everything else,
Right.
But I'm still
You're not gonna
try to figure out how to get there.
Right. Non-stop.
And I'm gonna flip this entertainment industry, whatever I want to do, and I was like things that I don't believe in that needs to be fixed. I want to fix
Well,
that.
you've always been a visionary, like in terms of, fixing problems. I remember even with Satudu when you started it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about this? Let's talk about some of your stuff, some of the
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah.
BLOGIFY.
Okay.
What is BLOGIFY?
Yeah, so we built an AI platform, and I wanted to solve a problem where I wasn't writing content for my website websites. I wasn't doing any social media posts for the companies, and I don't have the staff or resource. Do I want to hire anyone to do that? So we innovated a product using AI to while you're sleeping, it writes the campaign and it posts.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And it won't affect my life. It won't
Right.
It won't take 1 minute out of my time.
Right.
When I do it.
Right. Yeah, I use it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
It's really
It's really
cool,
cool.
and it's better than posting nothing, right?
Right.
And so I hired a developer. He's part time with me at the moment, but he gets paid weekly for me to continue to keep making it better.
Make it better.
And I felt like this was going to be a great product to help other people to have the same problems I have.
Right.
Which is entrepreneurs,
Right.
anyone that's super busy, and know that, look, writing content is not an immediate effect. It could take 2 or 3 years before it hits the ground for you. So you better be you better be writing content. Blogify could help you with that.
You never know when. You never
And
know
it's
which
not,
content.
and it's not the same like a ChatGPT because you still got to log in, copy and paste, got to think about it still, and
There's a human feel to it.
our stuff is just like push the button, campaign create around your idea. Content is great. send it out
So that's
every day.
Blogify.ai.
Yeah,
Right?
blogify.ai.
What about your franchise stuff? Like
Yeah, so live picture studios. We run. We do over 400 weddings a year. For the last decade, we franchised it, and we have one in Philly. We're closing one in Texas. We got a couple inquiries coming from California, but the goal is to do 400, 500 franchises. But it wasn't for franchises.
it just
I wanted 400, 500 partners that wanted to build studios with me. And you're gonna start with franchises to get you there mentally. That was the point of franchising.
wow.
I don't care about look the broker. First of all, the brokers take 60% of my paycheck when it comes to a franchise. They make
Right.
30. We sell it for 50 grand. They take 30 grand from me.
Right.
I make $20,000 in a week
Right.
with no other businesses. I don't need to sell that
Right,
and
right.
go through a headache.
Right.
But the idea was that if I have longer term partners, I knew how to build. Have 500 new partners with me.
Right.
We'll
You could
build,
turn it into
we are the
something
big.
else.
We're gonna be the biggest studio, probably in the world.
Wow, that's crazy.
That was my idea. So then we could chip in, put a pool in, make movies together, change the industry, create events
That's
together.
crazy how you using that business to.
Yeah, to swing that way. That's the reason why I franchised it. I don't care about making the crazy. And the money's gonna come in. Let's say I go and try to exit the company at $100 million.
Right.
I'm building the giant studio with me.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's whatever's gonna get me to a place of building a leverage point where I am bigger than CAA, William Moore, bigger than Disney, bigger than Netflix. Whatever's gonna get me there is what I'm doing. But and remember, I got zero investments. Nobody came in with capital on me.
I'm just grinding it out.
I'm grinding it out, and nobody's offering their hand to me. So I'm not asking for money. Remember, I never asked money from my parents.
True.
I'm not. It's hard for me to go and ask an investor.
True.
I'm my own investor.
Yeah, I know. We had these conversations. You're
I'm
like,
in my own
I
investor.
wanna- Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, okay, let me speed ramp this. Let me just franchise it. If I can make a boatload of money, great. And now I have 500 partners that wants to have. So I don't bring on any partner. I bring on a partner in that wants to build what I want to build. So I'm bringing partnerships in, except that they have a committed company
Right.
that they own,
Right.
big stake on it,
Right.
and they're learning how to be an entrepreneur
Right.
to be a great partner with.
Right. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. That's crazy. I never knew that. I didn't know that was that was the end game.
Yeah.
But
and then I got Satudu, which
yeah.
is my music licensing platform.
right?
Yeah, it was the idea of the idea was to first of all, music is in my DNA. Second of all, I think that the entertainment is all screwed up, and I felt like if Satudu could be super big around, like super successful around the business model,
Right.
then I have a voice at the table. I just want Satudu was to help me build a voice in entertainment. That's what it really was. To proving myself in films and music, then we could kind of turn things around, of how things can be done. But this model is like, give you an example, like ASCAP BMI. We did the movie, we submitted a Q sheet, and I hear that it takes them 2 years to get to your Q sheet.
Wow.
It's like,
So that's
you're not helping anybody.
That's a problem that needs to be solved immediately.
Yeah, it's a business model problem. It's
Right.
it's a whole industry problem.
It's an
Right.
old way of doing things.
But what if
in the new world.
But what if like Spotify and all these companies could have made these changes very quickly? They just don't. They're so greedy. They're just doing them
Just coming
themselves.
for their money.
They
Yeah,
don't
that's
care.
it. Yeah.
And so Satudu was built. So I had Satudu for several years. I put up over $250,000 into it, and then I had look. The name stands for Picture Freedom. It's about freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I pivoted the company about 5 times since I had the company for 3 years. It's not going away.
Absolutely.
I'm just
not.
constantly figuring
Right.
it out until
Till
I find
you
a market fit.
Right.
And
right.
I'll constantly put money in. I
Right.
put what $1,500 a month in,
Right.
and it doesn't make any money for me.
Right.
It's about to,
Absolutely.
but right now it's all about finding a market fit
That's
that's gonna scale.
That's the thing, man. The sacrifice that one needs to make to
Right.
really get there is no
That's right.
joke. It's also faith, right? Believing in yourself and believing in what you're
Right.
trying
And
to
look,
accomplish.
that money I could have bought real estate with.
True.
I could have done a lot of different
True,
things. I could have,
true.
bought my, but we live very small. lives, but we want to be maximizing like our impact
Yeah,
in our
impact.
lives. And I said that's the risk I go after. And it's like people think I'm insane. It's like
How
type
do
of stuff.
you know? Well, what about K-Vibe Studio?
Oh yeah, K Vibe Studio. Well, you're in K
I'm
Vibe
in
Studios.
K-Vibe Studios.
8,000 square foot studio, commercial, corporate, film, TV services, music design, sounds, music scoring, sound designing, mixing, coloring, the whole nine. End to end, post production, full production for making a movie or TV shows, whatever you want to do. Yeah, that's I've had that business since 2005. It's it's 20 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
It's 20 years old right now, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't make money for 7 years.
See that? They didn't make money for 7 years.
I turned it. I went. I put like 50 grand into building this website. It was a MySpace site at the time. Changed into didn't work out. Turned into a blog site for a few years. That
Right.
didn't work out.
Right.
Put that to the side. Opened up my wedding business.
Right.
Made that work. And then I funneled all the crew members into the K-Vibe side because it's the same business.
Right, right.
And built a $1 million corporate business.
Wow.
So it was, but it never went. But
that's the thing.
it was always finding a market fit for these
That's
businesses.
the thing. If you know what you want to see at the end,
That's exactly
it's
right.
very cool thing that happens where you just pivot along the way.
It's like editing music, man. It's like you might have an idea in your head, but
don't know what the
but you don't
end-
know the
As
drums
you're going,
sequences.
you're like,
get
"Let me
big
change
changes.
this," you
That's
know?
right.
Yeah,
You're making
absolutely.
constant changes
Absolutely.
all the. It's like
Absolutely.
1,000, 10,000 different pivots, and but if you're committed. If you're committed to the
Commitment,
goal,
the seed.
that's right.
There
If
we
you're
go.
committed to the goal,
Yep.
you're gonna pivot as many times until you get there. The name of a company is the name of a company. You could change your business model all day.
all day, absolutely.
But you're
I
gonna
agree
keep
with that.
finding it. But you say, "Hey, Kwa, I thought you're doing this thing still." Yeah, I am, but I'm just doing it differently
Different
in
way.
order to get there.
Right, right.
I was in
So-
crypto. I was in crypto,
absolutely,
NFTs, but
NFTs.
it was my way. Though I was didn't work out. I'm just not that. It's just
Right.
going down slow. But I didn't shut down the company.
Right. So
just
sometimes the goal is the goal.
That's exactly right.
You just got to change your strategy, your game plan, and things move, right?
That's
like
right.
The economy changes, technology happens.
That's right.
People, change.
Let me tell you a quick story. This building,
Mm-hmm.
20 banks turned me down because Bank of America. I put 60 grand into a building that I didn't own for environmental inspections only, because Bank of America has screwed me over during that time.
Wow.
And I had the numbers, the audit to show you that I lost all that money, right? I didn't, but then I gave the owner 50 grand to hold it for me. Don't sell it for a year.
Wow, that was kind of him.
Yeah, he could have sold it, right? Because he didn't have to wait for a year. And so when Bank of America screwed me over, I went to all these other small banks, and they all turned me down.
Wow.
Because he said, "Why did Bank of America turn you down? Something must be wrong."
Must be wrong, right?
So then I went with SBDC, Ryan Silvestri. He goes, "I got someone that might want to talk. Do you want to talk to?" He's the president of the bank, Gibraltar
Okay.
Bank at the time. They got swallowed up by somebody else. So, and Bob, he goes. So I sat down with the CFO, the CEO, CMO, everybody, CEO, everybody else in there, and I had no presentation. I go, "Look, I'm kind of tired at the moment."
They believed you.
I said, "Look, this is my final straw." I would say, "Look, this is what my vision is for the company, and this is why I'm in tears doing this type of stuff." And then you go, at the end of the day, I don't need a building,
Right.
but I don't need the building, but I want the building to make the change, and so it becomes a need for me. And if nobody's gonna do this for me, I'm not gonna be able to do my goals that I'm telling you to do. And I could promise you that I'm gonna do it. And so, right after the meeting, the president goes to me, "Kwa, we're gonna help you."
Wow.
No
Just
stats,
like that.
nothing.
No business plan, no nothing.
Nothing. He goes, "We're gonna help you." 30 days later, they gave me $800,000, close on the deal over here, and here I am. I built another 7-figure business. We have a growing building, and I'm in contact with Bob. He's a friend of mine now.
Right.
And I said, "Dude, I'm in debt with you because it's like you believe." He said, "We believe in you, Kwa, because there's very rare." He said that I was a memorable meeting.
A what?
A memorable meeting.
Oh, a memorable meeting.
Yeah.
Because
Because
you're
I poured.
passionate about
I
what you're
was,
doing.
yeah, I was
You
super
know what I mean?
passionate and
people
poured into
people
everything.
can definitely read through that.
Yeah.
Or people see through that. Like, okay, you know what?
It wasn't. I didn't talk business to them. I didn't
Right.
even talk. I didn't talk
You,
like
you
what it's
let
gonna
them know.
make, what, why. I just talked about why I needed, why I wanted it, why it became a need for me, and why this building. And the funny enough is like this building didn't let me go. Guess what I did when I bought it? I put $500,000 harder in cash to renovate the building.
I remember that.
I didn't pull out a loan.
Yeah.
I didn't. They asked me, "You want a loan for this?" I said, "I'm good, man. I'm gonna commit it. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna say I'm gonna do. I'm gonna knock it out of the park." And then guess what? 2 months before the pandemic, we moved in before 2 months before the pandemic.
Wow.
And I thought, holy crap!
Just when I was getting ready.
Yeah, just when I'm ready to launch, and then you were there for the soft opening. And guess what happened? 6 months later, I made a seven. I was able to. I made another. I made 7 figures from live streaming. We pivoted.
Right. Right.
I wasn't
Right.
gonna let anything fail, man.
So I guess the moral of the story is, if you are passionate enough
Yep.
doing what you do, and you believe in yourself, and you're relentless about it, but you have to also do those other things,
You have
right?
to,
You have to network, because obviously you didn't get to that table just being in your little,
20 banks turned me down,
Exactly.
dude. It's like
and that disappointment there,
Nonstop,
right?
yeah.
It's like, when do you stop?
Yeah.
Like 20? Wow. I mean, a lot of people give up on the first bank.
No, I didn't stop, man. I was like, I was relentless because okay, our lease was coming up. I didn't want to do another thing, and I was like, this is the only building right next to New York that I could afford.
Right.
And I had this vision that I could turn it into something.
Yeah, you've done an amazing thing with this.
I didn't
building.
map anything. There was no drawings, nothing. I just had it on. I walked in, I just kind of knew this was it.
Wow.
And I said I wanted it. And then the owner kept calling me, said, "Are we gonna do this or not?" And then I got so pissed. I go, "Look, man." I told my broker, I was like, "Look, man, just tell the owner to go f himself." I got to the point where if he nags me anymore, I'm just like, just take it back,
Yeah.
take it back.
Yeah.
But he said, "You know what?
Were you gonna lose your 50K if you
Yeah,
did that?
I was gonna lose everything."
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
And then I was like, and then he said, "You know what? No, I'm just gonna leave it for KHOA because I don't want." The previous owner did not want to turn this into a condo.
Oh.
He saw my vision,
And he wanted that.
and he wanted me to build something that was for the community, that was for entertainment. Because he's a photographer
Right.
himself.
Right. So there was a connection there.
There was a connection there, so he stuck with me for a year,
Wow.
committing, saying like, this was gonna happen.
I never knew this story.
I don't tell this. I don't tell this. I
people.
don't tell people this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't tell my people a lot of different things,
Right.
until they ask. But it's
Right.
just like I live on a rock, man. I work in this really small office in a big building, right? And I'm on my laptop with another screen, and I just hunker down
I see
until
that. You work in the music studio.
in the dark, in the dark.
Yeah.
I work in the dark and just to get it done. And but that's my commitment.
Yeah. Wow. That's a nice, actually powerful story about commitment. You were committed to seeing the end result,
That's
what
right.
you wanted, and the rejection from the banks
That's right.
didn't stop you.
Yeah, the rejection from the banks.
Yeah.
The amount of money it's gonna cost me.
Yeah.
Nothing
stopped you.
That didn't stop
and
me.
when the
yeah.
opportunity came,
Yeah.
you didn't say, "Oh shit, I'm not ready for this meeting."
No.
People do that, right? They're like, they put in all the work and effort, and then
That's
the
right.
opportunity comes. They're like, "Oh man, I need a business plan. I need to go do this." You just, took.
You know what? That comes. Yes.
That comes later.
That comes later, and it depends on the industry that you're in and who you're
Right.
talking to.
Right.
For me, this was like a survival thing.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna be
Do you
relentless.
think there's something like luck then?
I think there is something that is karma. I believe in karma.
Absolutely.
I believe that if you did something, if you were a good person, you're given opportunities that you have to run with. And, there's a reason why something sticks with you. And you got to stick with it.
And you got to be trustworthy.
You gotta be trustworthy. You gotta be a good person. And then I think that like I mentioned, like the universe gives you these opportunities, and you either take or you leave it
Or misuse it.
or misuse
And
it.
then it becomes a burden for you.
Not even just you. I feel like it could be passed on
Right.
to your family members, to your
Right.
kids.
Right. Right.
So my job is to protect my kids and my family, and so I do everything to work
To
towards
work
that,
towards that.
to not
Wow.
to make sure that that doesn't get affected with them.
Wow, Quan. This has been an amazing, powerful conversation and breakdown. I know we're gonna circle back up
Yeah.
on other things. You
Okay.
know,
Cool.
I really appreciate your time because
Thanks
I
for
know
having me on.
I don't know was I which part of the 11 to what 11 to was I on the calendar?
Yeah.
I don't want to take much of your time. We need you to stay focused because you're doing a lot
Yeah.
for the community as well. And you know,
We're building a film club, the Elite Club.
oh, what's that about?
So it's for premium filmmakers, like the elite filmmakers. Not for elite, but we want to have we want the entry point to be accessible, but we want to have different tier levels. So then,
Okay.
so this way, you know that you could join our club, knowing that you could meet the big
Other
agencies,
people.
the big people, the people that's going to move the needle forward.
Wow.
And they not need to be in the industry, but these are people that's going to move the needle forward for you. So we wanted to build this elite membership here, where it's like almost co-working. You have your own access. You come into our building, hang out, watch a screening, movies, popcorn. Just schedule it out. But think of like it's home for you in this membership. Like think of it like a yacht club.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's part of
Right
the
here- right
part
here
of
in Jersey
right
City.
here, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time to move on forward, because I think you have to have
You have the place for it.
you need first I have the building for it.
Yeah.
I have all the tools for it, and I think we could help so many people that needs it.
See, that's why I like this guy. We've known each other for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And, since the day I met you, you always had this thing. I used to think that you were like a spiritual person because you always say, I just want to do the right thing for the industry. This is bad. This is screwed up. I want to fix a problem. And then you spend money to do these things to fix the problem.
Right.
And then it comes back to the karma thing you're saying. It comes back to you in opportunities that leverage you to do other things that financially reward you
That's
to
right.
continue to do what you're doing.
That's right.
And then sooner or later you're gonna have good
Hopefully,
problems.
yeah, hopefully,
Good problems. You know
hopefully.
what good problems are?
Yeah.
When you make so much money that you don't know how to handle your taxes.
I'm going to leave this with you. I talked to my wife told me you got to pray to Buddha and you got to ask what you want to ask. And so I had asked one time, I had to go through this whole thing routine. I asked them, just give me the access for me to do what I need to do, and I'm going to give it all back to you. Once I do what I need to do, I want to give back everything to you. Like all the money, everything. I'm going to give it right back to the temples. Whatever you wanted me to do, I'm going to
That's
give it
deep.
back to you. I don't need the money when I'm dead.
Yeah, that's true.
My family doesn't need the money when they're, but I would say, give me the temporary money. It's a loan.
Right.
And let me do what I need to do, and then I'll give it all back to you.
Yeah,
That's all.
That's powerful. I have a similar prayer. When I pray to God, I just ask Him to allow Him to let me fulfill my purpose in this life, which I know is to create opportunities for others. For example, right, the village in which my father grew up and where he came from, right. That place, I don't think there are that many people who came from there at that time and ended up with a scholarship doing an MBA at NYU. I'm talking about a village with no lights,
Yeah.
no nothing. Just
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about an
yeah.
African village.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, what am I going to do? Because I admire him. I admire what he accomplished and the influence he had on me, to the point that I know there are plenty of him in places all over that need opportunities.
That's right.
So this is not even about me.
No, it's not.
You know what I
It's
mean?
never. That's what I'm saying. It's not ever about you.
Yeah.
It's
So
not about you.
I
And
get it.
you know, and so you gotta kind of like do whatever you can while you're here and just do the best you can and do it all. And then and you know, we believe in the Buddhist community that if something happens, you're gonna be reborn and continue the journey somehow.
One day I got off the train. I don't remember where I was. A gentleman, I have my book back. I'm walking. A gentleman says, "Hey, young man, where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to work." And we started a conversation. And guess what? That's the gentleman who introduced me to you.
Oh,
So I say
wow.
this, that the
Yeah,
universe works in
that's right.
in different in different ways.
That's right.
And he himself was a pastor.
That's right. That's interesting, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So now,
Wow.
now, now, future conversation. We're gonna get into the
We're gonna go into
spiritual.
the whole thing later on.
Hey, listen, man. This has been an amazing conversation. I hope that the leverage here once again is to inspire, to educate. I hope that we've touched somebody or inspired somebody to remain committed to your dream, your business, your education, whatever it is. Remain committed, remain disciplined, and definitely consistency. It's like a map. You know what I mean? Just put it down. On Monday, I'm going to do this. Tuesday, I'm going to do that. Next day, I'm going to do this, and take that action. Don't come back to it, and shortchange yourself.
That's right.
Until the next episode, you already know. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and all that good stuff. Remember, you get more out of life when you help others get what they want. Peace out.